Anyway, I'd like to welcome you to Speak the Truth 2.0. And my motto is that you have to speak up because the truth can't be heard. So we want to make sure that we come on here, we are authentic, we're real. You can agree to disagree. We just ask that you be respectful in the comments. To me, like when you have people that try to say, insulting things and things like that, to me, you have no substance. So we want you to give your opinion because what we're doing, we're giving our opinion. But the show today is about the Democrats. Now, the election is over with, and I was really concerned about the state of the Democrats because I've always voted for the Democrats. I've always voted democratically. But this election, I felt like those people running were weak. We didn't have anyone concrete that was running that could represent us properly. And the things that they believed in, we don't believe in. So it was a divide, even in the party. But the party is not the same. The party has changed. The party is different. It's not the same party of yesteryear. And we're going to go more into it. But I want to get into Jasmine Crockett. She apologizes to the world after Trump and Zelenskyy, their clash. I don't believe that she's really in position to speak for the United States of America. And we don't owe Zelenskyy an apology for nothing, nothing at all. We have been good to Ukraine. We have supported Ukraine more than any other nation around the world. And to take our tax dollars and to fill as though that we got to apologize to you for using our money and apologize to you because we are talking about doing a mineral deal to get some of my money back and to put a presence, in your country so that you don't have Putin attacking the country. That was what the whole deal was. And this deal that they discussed, he was discussing this 5 days prior. He had talked that day to 10 different senators, but probably the Democrats got in his ear, say you're going to be with. He's got more attention because this was the United States media. Now the world has blown up. So what he wanted to do, he accomplished it. He used the United States. He never planned on signing a deal. The deal was up in the air 3 different times, and he lied each time. And when he sat down, he could have discussed anything with them after just, presenting, how they were just, meeting up with the press to, greet, the President Zelenskyy and all that. What happened? And then he decided to, ask a question of the vice president. He had been talking to the vice president ever since they was over in Europe, like 2 weeks prior to that. They were talking 5 days prior to that. Everybody was on assignment, but he decided to take that opportunity and he got what he wanted. He does not want to end the war. He does not want a ceasefire, but we're going to go into, we're going to discuss it more. And we're going to bring her on because Jasmine Crockett feels though that she's speaking, she's going to speak for all of us. She's going to speak for us.
And I'm awfully glad to have you here because I read what you said, apologizing to the world. And I want to go deeper into it because you said, I'm sorry that the bright light America used to be is dimming. Why did that whole interaction seem to be so distant for you, for what the U.S. stands for?
Besides the fact that we're talking about an ally, we're talking about Ukraine, a country that was invaded. First, it started off with trying to change the facts. We don't live in a world of alternative facts, trying to change the reality of who invaded who. After we kept saying that Trump was nothing but Putin's puppet, we kept saying that he was palling around with Putin. We've said it all kinds of ways, but this comes at the heels of the UN voting with Russia. This also then is an opportunity for Trump to show that no, America knows who our friends are and we're going to stand with those friends. And unfortunately, he decided that he wanted to talk about his.
They are still running against Trump.
Trump never wanted to go serve his country. And right now, the only service that he's giving to us is driving our country apart. But I'm sorry, when you're at war, you're not worried about your outfit. That is what we call a privilege. Number one. Number two, to say, oh, what can you afford? Well, if he was walking around in the fanciest suits, I'm sure that they would accuse him of taking our dollars and spending it on his wardrobe and being more concerned about that. Listen, this is a no-win situation when you're walking in with someone who has decided that he is going to align himself with a dictating thug.
Okay, so to that end, we know before the exchange, what was supposed to happen was there was going to be the signing of this preliminary mineral deal, at least, right? Aiming to end the war, but without Trump committing to any security guarantees. I mean, you say that peace should not have a price tag, but there are some Republicans, as you know, and the president claiming that, oh, you know what, America is being taken advantage of here. Is there a middle ground we can get to?
There's not a middle ground with this president. He has no intentions of doing right by, number one, the United States. I appreciate what the former governor was saying. We are in a national security crisis. We've been in a national security crisis ever since, honestly, before he even ran. We know that he had our national secrets stored at Mar-a-Lago. People felt like that wasn't really a big deal. They wanted to compare it to what was going on with Joe Biden. We know that he was showing this to people that maybe weren't supposed to see our national security secrets. We know that he is consistently engaged in questionable deals as it relates to our emoluments clause when he was in the first go round. Next thing you know, his son-in-law was getting a lot of money from the Saudis as soon as they walked out. And so right now, and not to mention, he has decided that his DOJ will not prosecute cases that engage in any type of foreign nefariousness when it comes to getting money. So unfortunately, we have someone that is occupying the White House. And as far as I'm concerned, he is an enemy to the United States.
Listen to
He
this.
swore an oath just like
The
the rest of us.
president is
But right
an
now,
enemy to the
you are
United
literally
States
putting
of
us at risk
America.
all because of what? Because
Wow.
you want to convince your followers that you should be a dictator too, that you should never leave the White House because you don't believe that elections should take place. I don't really understand what is going on, and I don't know what it's going to take to get people to wake up. We are
Okay, I have to ask. Now I know we just started and we want to listen. We're going to listen to Jasmine. There's quite a few of the Democrats that I feel that are anti-American at this point. This Trump syndrome is never going to end. The election is over with. Do you believe that Trump is an enemy of the United States of America? Just answer that. Or do you believe that Trump is trying to stop World War III? That when he went into that office, the objective was to try to sign a ceasefire deal with Zelenskyy. I'd like to know your point. To say that he's an enemy of the state essence is going too far.
those that are watching our nuclear stockpile by giving everything over to a private friend known as Elon Musk. We are getting rid of all of the inspector generals, and so there's
Trump is a
literally
true
lack
American.
of checks and balances all around us. And then we have somebody who's sitting his vice president out to offend our allies in Europe. Listen, the way that I used to explain this on the trail when I was campaigning for Madam Vice President is I would say, listen, it's kind of like the schoolyard. When you go to school and everybody knows that your siblings are at the same school, or they know that your cousins are at the same school, then they may not pick a fight with you because they know that if they pick a fight with you, they got to pick a fight with your whole family. But when you're like me, an only child, they may decide to pick a fight with you because they're like, there's nobody that is going to back her up when we get to the playground. Right now, he's trying to put us into a situation.
He's
where
trying
we will
to.
be the only ones on the playground when you're going out talking about you're going to go into Canada, when you're going out and you're talking about Mexico. Listen, Zelenskyy is right. He doesn't have the privilege that we have. We've got water on each side, and we used to have friends on the north and south. He doesn't have that privilege. And so I really want America to wake up because it should not be partisan. Be the selfish people that we love to be in America.
Yeah.
Worry about your safety.
You mentioned Elon Musk, which brings me to those federal.
You know what? It's like just listening to this, you know, the Democrats, we have to understand, and hopefully I'm speaking to Americans. I know we be having people around the world, but we're one nation under God. And I think it's bigger than the Democratic Party and the Blue Party. This is a world issue. Trump is sincerely trying to stop us from going to World War III. Zelensky is actually grabbing young men off the street. I'm gonna find the videos for it. They're grabbing young Ukrainian young men off the street. They're kidnapping them and they're throwing them onto the battlefield because they need bodies. And he's happy. The greatest thing that happened for Zelensky, that I don't know if they coached him or told him, get in front of American media. You let Trump and them think that you're coming here to sign a mineral deal that you've been saying 3 different occasions that everybody agreed upon it. You have talked to everyone, and I don't know who had gotten into his ear, but that was the biggest stage to erupt because it became world news. And guess what? He ran right over to Europe. Nobody, 3.5 years, nobody tried to make a deal. Nobody talked to Putin. Here goes Trump coming there because it's a way Putin doesn't respect any of them. He can walk over all of them. They are not equipped and they don't have the money. They needed America's money because, we're the ATM of the world. We're Bank of America, but guess what? It's closed now. It's closed. We're $36 trillion in debt. We don't have the money to have an endless war. And that's what Trump was saying, what we need to do. He's talking peace. He's talking cease war. And Zelensky said he didn't want to cease war. Zelensky, if you knew what's going on in Ukraine, you know that he's locking up his opposition. They're closing up the churches. He's suppressing media.
Dark prototype house.
He's doing all sorts of things to the people of Ukraine. Of course, there's no elections because there is a war going on. But this man is at the power and he's grinning and smiling. He went over Europe. UK is not the leader of the world. They doing all this now. They all going to meet without the United States. Guess what? They won't last. They don't have the military power we have. They're nothing without us. But see, you know what he wants? He's saying, I want y'all to send your kids to fight and die for Zelensky. Send your children to die for Zelensky. Right now, it's a win-win for him. Because the reason why I say that is because Putin, after 3.5 years, only gained 5% of the land. That means they have 95%. Okay, they still have their country. Putin lost, they lost. But right now, they lost millions of citizens are dying. Now,
Eduardo, that's your opinion.
Europe is talking about sending in their people. And guess what's going to happen? Then China going to send more. They got 1.5 billion people. They're going to send more. And then they're going to, when they start getting beaten down, and they're going to send their young people to die for Zelensky because they being suckered by a freaking little elf actor that's a freaking comedian. And this man is happy because it's all about power and it's all about wealth.
Someone says Zelensky saved us from Putin, the warlord.
Zelensky hasn't saved you from nothing. Nothing at all. He is an actor. You know what he's doing? He's dragging the world into a World War III, and it won't be just about Ukraine that's crumbling. It'll be the world being blown up. So we'll go from Ukraine to the world.
You can look it up. He was a comedian.
Don't let me put don't let me put that on, but we're trying to do Zelensky. But I could show you Zelensky's occupation, what he actually was doing for a living before he became the president of Ukraine. And he actually was an actor playing a president.
All the people going against us in the comments, you could admit that you're not actually for Ukraine. You just hate Trump, and that's why you're siding with Ukraine.
Okay, we're not going to stay on this because this is about the Democrats, because that's what I've always been, a Democrat. But I'm going to show you Zelensky. That's Zelensky. 5-inch heels. That's Zelensky. Get it. Get it, Zelensky. That's Zelensky. That's who's leading, controlling the world right now. That dude right there is trying to drag the United States into a war. He wants us to fight his war. Look at him. Look at him.
Slay.
I had to show y'all that. That's who's you are supporting. Get it. Get it, Zelensky. Shake them hips.
Johnny said Zesty Lincoln.
Zesty. Go ahead.
He's Zesty.
He's an actor and he's fooling all of you. That is him. That's him dancing. That's the honest to God truth. That's Zelensky. Y'all wish it was AI. That's Zelensky. Go ahead, look at his face. That's Zelensky. Pause right here.
Someone in the comments said, show The Apprentice for a balance. So they're trying to compare that to The Apprentice.
Look, Trump ain't never put no 5-inch high heels on and shook his behind and grabbed a man's by the buns. That has never happened. That's Zelensky. Okay, that man is dragging the world into World War III. And all you people are falling for this actor who only is thinking about himself.
To everyone saying AI,
sad.
To everyone saying who is AI, Linda clarified. She said this video has been around for years. It's not AI.
You can look him up. There's other videos. He did Dancing with the Stars that he actually won. Okay, that's Zelensky. That's who you. That's why Putin will never respect a man shaking his behind, dancing in heels. It will never happen. Because they're real men there. I told you when you do that, don't do that. Just remove them, please.
Remove who?
I mean, don't put you know how you just.
I got rid of the guy from chat.
Okay, don't do it. Just remove their
he was
statement.
saying racist stuff to us, Mom.
Just you know what? They can't.
Calling us the N-word.
You know what? Remove his comment.
That's what I was doing.
Okay, but when you do that other thing, that would happen. Okay, let's go.
Great to be with you.
It's
I
wonderful to
explained
have
it
you
to
back,
you
Senator.
earlier.
Let me start
With
with Ukraine and that Oval Office meeting. The reaction continues to pour in, and you just heard me speak with House Speaker Mike Johnson. He left the door open to the possibility that it may be necessary for President Zelensky to resign in order to get to a broader peace agreement. Let me ask you this question. Do you think that President Zelensky needs to resign in order for there to be a peace deal?
I think that is a horrific suggestion. Zelensky is leading a country trying to defend democracy against an authoritarian dictator, Putin, who invaded his country. And I think millions of Americans are embarrassed, are ashamed that you have a president of the United States who says that Ukraine started the war, that Zelensky is a dictator. He's got it exactly backwards. The people of Ukraine have lost tens of thousands of soldiers. Their cities are being bombed as we speak. And our job is to defend the 250-year tradition that we have of being the democratic leader of the world, not turn our backs on a struggling country that is trying to do the right thing.
And we will continue to follow that, of course, Senator. We have a lot to get to, so I'm going to talk about budget cuts and switch topics here so we can get to that as well. You heard Speaker Johnson argue that there's massive amounts of waste, fraud, and abuse in entitlement programs like Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security. In fact, the Government Accountability Office does say that both Medicare and Medicaid made more than $100 billion in payment errors in 2023. Let me ask you, Senator, Democrats were in charge for 4 years. Should the Democratic Party have done more to address some of those issues with the insolvency of our entitlement programs?
And Trump was in power
Never
4 years
fail.
before that.
Never
Look,
fail. See,
if
that's
there
what
is
I get
waste
so
and fraud
tired
in
of.
the
That it
Defense
never
Department,
fails. That their talking points is always going to Trump. Trump was not
Does
president
nothing-
for the last 4 years, but they act like he was. Every time you try to hold a Democrat accountable, they always go back to Trump. This fiasco that we're in right now is not Trump's doing; it's the Democrats' doing. Out of the last 16 years, mind you, I've been voting for Democrats, and I can say it. I can speak the truth on what's been happening. They've been in power the last 16 years. 12 of the last 16 years, excuse me. And what we're going through from the economy, inflation, open borders, 14 million people entering our country, 2 wars, Gaza and Ukraine. We're giving money to everyone. We're $36 trillion in debt, and they have done nothing to remedy the debt. That's why now Trump has to come in, because we are bankrupt. We can't even take on any more debt. We've been the ATM for the freaking world for years, and nobody tried to resolve this budget deficiency. So we have to start somewhere to save this country. But meanwhile, the Democrats always have the same freaking talking points and no solution. Now, how are you going to go against the president? Trump went there. He's trying to bring money in our country. In the last freaking few weeks, I can't even say it, he's already bringing trillions of dollars back to us. He got even Apple investing $500 billion back. He has everyone investing back in the USA. He's telling Ukraine, you people in the United States, wake up. He's saying we gave $350 billion. We didn't do a loan like Europe did. They did a loan and they did grants. We just gave them the money. And Zelenskyy don't even want to make amends to give us any of our money back. So Trump said, let's do a mineral deal. This way, with Americans on that land, he is not going to invade. Then you would trigger the United States of America. That's your safety net, is us. When Obama was in office, they invaded. When Biden was in office, he saw that was the best opportunity because we had a president. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you. You're amazing as well. Thank you, Northwest. Bless you, bless you, bless you. God bless you. He saw that we had a weak behind government. We had the vice president that couldn't speak without speaking a word salad, that was absent, that was MIA just about the entire term until the last 3 months of their term. And then you had Biden. So he went in because we were weak. We were weak. That was the best time. We were weak. And for 3.5 years, we did nothing. You didn't hear the Democrats saying anything about the economy. That's why when they ran, they couldn't run on the economy because they caused it. Kamala was the deciding vote for the inflation that we inherited. When Trump was in office, we had no wars. We didn't have this inflation. The interest rate was like 1.6 or something that they said. Inflation, nothing was like it is now. And Putin, one thing he has, like Trump is saying, he can't go on TV and talk about this man like everybody wants him to, because he needs this man to come to the table. And he won't talk to the rest of the world. None of them could sit down and talk to Putin. Putin is not just him, you guys. He has backup. And you got this little clown, this little elf running around, took advantage of American media because he knew that there was a portion of America that voted for this bull crap with the Democratic Party. They're not the same party. And that's what I had to realize. The Democratic Party is not the same party. They're not the same. The party now is the LGBTQ party. That's not the same party. Obama's whole term, 2 terms, was about the LGBTQ. That's why we have people that's in our sports that shouldn't be in our sports now. That's why we have them now, because of Obama. And then Biden, his whole thing was people, was a transgender. I'm going to give y'all an example. This is not the same freaking Democratic Party. I don't even watch these people, but this is the party we have now. Even today, you got this man that beat women by 8 feet in the long jump. It's a man. You got to see this. This is crazy. This man is in the long jump, and people, that's like saying I identify as a white woman. You're seeing that I am black. I'm beautiful and black. I love who I am. Thank you so much. Keep speaking. Know the truth, backed by facts. Blessings. Blessings to you, Carly. Thank you so much. I'm sorry if I can't see it all because these lights. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. But these people are telling you these lies. They want us to believe this nonsense that's going on. And I'm gonna show you this dude, this freaking dude. He's a freaking man. This man. I'll let it start here. I don't want to get this other guy in here. But see if we get him running. They had this man. That's a man. That's a man that just ran and jumped. It's still going on. That's a man. He's way taller than everyone else. That's a man that just did the long jump. This dude, they're still doing it. He's running the freaking long jump. That's what he's doing. This guy. This guy is running the long jump. And I can't lie. I mean, it's just a lie. It's just crazy. Hey, Johnny B. This Democratic Party is different. This is the guy.
Amazing 3 wins today. Was
Now,
SMR.
this man.
SMR, long, triple, and then have high later.
And you still
Look
got
at
the
this.
high jump.
He's
Amazing
at least
performances
6'2".
So far, how are you feeling?
Pause it.
Look at this.
Let's start up.
This guy. It's just ridiculous that we're supposed to believe.
It's a Aruba Valley High School. Amazing.
This is the
3 wins
Democratic
today was
Party
SMR.
SMR, long, triple, and then have high later.
And you still got the high jump. Amazing performances so far. How are you feeling just about a day once today at the Ontario Relay?
Very excited. I don't know. I did not, after long, I was like, oh, maybe I'm not going to do as good as triple, but I'm glad that I performed pretty well, and I'm just excited.
What do you think really clicked today in the triple jump?
I don't know. I think I was really nervous. I was so nervous.
This is a man.
Just jump good, please. After coming off with a big win at Arcadia, I was like, you can't just go out of nowhere. You have to do good.
All the women mannerisms. Look at this. This is what you think a woman is.
And then coming off of last year, you had such an amazing season. Now, as a junior, I believe, how are you using all that momentum and just all that energy?
The new
to try to put
Democratic
into a
Party.
great year?
This is what they support.
I just keep telling myself, you are number one, and it's yours to lose. So if you lose it, it's fine. But
No woman
just
can
keep
beat
that drive to
him.
get it back.
And I'm curious too, just how has the training been going at the beginning of the season? It seems that it's definitely working right as you performed well at the Winter Championship.
Don't forget to hit the like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.
How's training been?
Training's been pretty hard. Light days. In the beginning of the week, it's pretty hard, and then we get lighter as the day goes on to prepare for the meet. And then once meet time comes, we'll just go all out.
And then getting a win in SMR with your team.
Okay, I'm done. Go to the leaderboard. I can't listen.
Okay, this is now.
So this person did a 40-foot
Look at this.
triple jump. So the one that y'all saw was a long jump, wasn't a triple jump, but this is the triple jump numbers. So this person did 40 feet. Look, I want y'all to think about this real quick. Now, men do this sometimes too, men against men. But if you look at the leaderboard, the separation between second and third is less than a foot. The separation between, a third and fourth is about a foot. Fourth and fifth is less than a foot. Fifth and sixth, less than a foot. Sixth, seventh, not even a foot, or probably about a foot. So you got all these people separated by probably a foot or less.
Women.
I mean, much less. Some of them are
The
like
women.
inches. Then you add the one at the top that's beating them by 8 feet.
8
I
feet.
want y'all to understand this.
8 feet.
is far as F. And am I smoking crack? I'm 6'2". You got to add a couple more feet on me. 8 feet is from here to way over here. Okay.
That's
Am I wrong? Am my math wrong? That's 8 feet, right?
See, that's the new Democratic Party. That's like I'm walking around saying, I identify as a white woman. Now, would y'all look at me like I'm crazy? I identify as a white woman. He's walking around saying he identifies as a woman. And that's a man. That dude is at least 6'2", at a medium. He's at least 6'2". He beat the next woman, the best woman who actually should have won it, He beat her jump by 8 feet. 8 feet. That's what these men are doing. Women will never break the records that these men are getting. And he's on. We don't talk like, oh well, I think this and I just believe that I could have did better. We don't do all that. That's not that because they're not women. So that's the part. I just had to show that's the party. That's not the Democratic Party is not the same party as yesteryear. Yesteryear, it was about people. It was about standing for living wages and standing for discrimination. It was standing for things like that. But it wasn't about LGBTQ. This is new. This is like Obama's the grandfather of this. The party's more focused on that than it had been on American people. If you are illegal immigrant, you get precedence over American citizens. If you're Ukraine, you get precedence over American citizens. Gaza, whatever it is like if you're American and you are in a flood or if you have a fire, you barely even get a tent. We are out there to help the world, except for the United States of America. But then when you have these people coming on, and they see, if you can't see a setup, America is supposed to be a little bit more aware than that. We're supposed to be like on top of our game. Y'all can't recognize the Zelenskyy got game. He didn't just have that news conference that nobody knew that he wasn't going to sign the deal. That was a false. That was just to get in front of the American people, and he's won. Because you have people supporting it. This man is trying to lead other men and women. He's talking about he want Americans to fight. It's not our war. We're not at war. We don't care what this where. We know he pocketed $1 billion. I think we need to check out his net worth. When it's all over with, we need to check out his net worth. So we need to be conscious of what's going on and not go along with this foolery because he's so happy. And Trump was trying to stop this war. And he went over there because he won. Now he got money, but it's not going to last because he wants an endless war. We don't need it to escalate. Trump was trying to de-escalate it, and he wants it to escalate. And we need to stop it. They are not going to do anything to stop this war. The Democrats, you got like, what's her name? Jasmine Crockett. She's apologizing to the world. You're not apologizing to the world because we stand with our president. He had game. Everything went left. That was not the conversation the way that it was supposed to go. That's why he went and said something to J.D. Vance. They've already have been working out the deal. So when they said he got ambushed, no, he ambushed us. That man is an actor. That shouldn't have been part of the conversation at all. He's going to try to educate us what has happened in his country. We know it. But the whole idea was having an American presence. That's what Trump was trying to do in his country. That's what Trump was trying to achieve. The whole idea was to get some minerals so they can benefit. Why are we supposed to be the givers and we get nothing back? I mean, can someone explain to me that we have a president that's making deals? Yeah, he told Mexico, if you don't close those borders and stop having fentanyl that's coming in, that's causing more deaths to American citizens than anything else, and people got a problem with that. There are 350,000 children that are missing. Why would you have a problem with that? We have to be smarter than what we are. We got terrorists now that have come into the country. I mean, and we have people that are defending all of this that has gone on. I'm trying to find, where Brian at?
Okay.
So we have to really be smarter and have some discernment. Like, what happened to us being on top of our game?
On their own domestic defense industries. And, it doesn't take a historian to know that like a remilitarized Germany is not necessarily a good thing for the world. But it seems like they're just going to plot a course without us.
But with that said, it is now the responsibility of the rest of the world to fill the void of America's leadership. It's the responsibility of the rest of the world to step in and help Ukraine and show that democracy is worth fighting for. What we're going to see now is Russia, China, and other far-right autocracies see how far they can push the envelope. They're going to test the fences of the world to see how far they can go. Russia is going to double down on Ukraine, China is eventually going to attack Taiwan, and will enter a new phase of global imperialism. The only way that stops is if the rest of the world steps up. That means committing to NATO, committing to democracy, committing to maintaining a unified front in the face of what will be a newly emboldened enemy. When I say that the fate of the free world depends on it, it is the honest to God's truth. Before you go, just a quick note, if you'd like to see more of my content, which is always
You know
free
what?
of
All of them are saying the
sponsorship.
same thing, and it has to come a time that we recognize game. It has to come a time. Only thing that Trump has been doing is trying to have peace. Zelenskyy sat right there in the Oval Office. I don't know, we have to show it. And he said that he didn't want a ceasefire. He said it right to the world that he did not want a ceasefire. Why wouldn't you at least start with a ceasefire? Nobody, 3.5 years, they have not had a ceasefire. Why not start with that to save your people? They're kidnapping young Ukrainians off the street. That's what's going on. And here we are, divided as usual, like we are still having an election. The election is over. We have a president, and he's fighting for us, whether y'all realize it or not. Do y'all want Trump? Americans are, do y'all want Trump to send your children over to Ukraine to die for Zelenskyy? Is that what you want? Zelenskyy is suckering everybody in when only 5% of his land has been taken. But guess what? If we keep listening to this clown, he's over there talking, hollering, fire, fire. And he got all he's suckering in. They want to be the United States, UK over there. Oh, we're going to give you 3.5 billion. But did they give 350 billion? Their citizens are living large while the United States or our citizens are going through it. They get things that aren't accessible to us over here. You know, they really have it made over there because they're not paying for wars like the United States of America. And it's time for us to get something back. And that's what Trump is trying to do. He's trying to have these countries, including Canada. He said, how's that helping us? You know, we're taking care of you. You don't even want to take any of our products. It's because of us is why your country is afloat, but you don't want to help give anything back. I mean, what's wrong with this picture? We have to stand together. And only thing the Democrats do, their whole campaign, they're still campaigning against this man, and he won by the majority.
Has aligned itself with the autocracies of the world. Trump planted himself firmly alongside.
Yeah, we need that $5,000.
Xi, Kim Jong-un, and any other strongman presiding over illiberal democracies or outright dictatorships. Today we witness the end of the official post-World War II order that has led to the longest period of peace in the history of the world. The world is markedly different today.
Yeah, his
than it
ego
was
is
yesterday.
dangerous.
And
You're
to that
right.
point,
It
the
is.
second thing that happened is that a reshuffling of alliances is happening right now. In the vacuum of America's leadership, other countries are now stepping in to fill that void. After Trump's petulant meltdown, what we saw today were leaders from nearly every democracy on earth signaling that while Trump is abandoning democracy and vacating our spot as the leaders of the free world, that they're going to step in. Here's just a small sampling of what I mean.
They're nothing without the United States.
Including the president
They're
of the European
nothing
Council,
without us.
Dear Zelenskyy, dear Ukrainian friends, you are not alone. The foreign minister of Germany, Ukraine is not alone. Germany, together with our European allies, stands united alongside Ukraine and against the Russian aggression. Ukraine can build on unwavering support from Germany, Europe, and beyond. Their defense of democracy and their quest for peace and security is ours. The Prime Minister of the Czech Republic, we stand with Ukraine and on the side of the free world. The President of Slovakia, we stand with Ukraine more than ever. Time for Europe to stay united.
Y'all gonna die.
The President of Slovenia upholds the principles and respect of international law and international relations. What we witnessed in the Oval Office today undermines these values and the foundations of diplomacy. We stand firmly in support of Ukraine's sovereignty. We repeat, Russia is the aggressor. The Foreign Minister of Austria, stand with Ukraine. The Prime Minister of Spain, Ukraine, Spain stands with you. The Prime Minister of Sweden, Sweden stands with Ukraine. You are not only fighting for your freedom, but also for all of Europe. Slava Ukraini. The Ambassador of the Netherlands to Ukraine. I just spoke to my Ukrainian friend and colleague. I reiterated my full support to Ukraine whenever it takes for as long as it takes. The President of Lithuania, Ukraine, you'll never walk alone. The Prime Minister of Latvia, Latvia stands with Ukraine. The President of Latvia, Ukraine is a victim of the Russian aggression. It fights the war with the help from many friends and partners and has become a symbol for not just freedom and sovereignty, but for making the art of the impossible in difficult circumstances.
You know what? This just shows me how smart. I don't even know if the Democrats helped him, Zelenskyy, but that was the best thing that happened to him when he was able to manipulate the American media. I mean, when he was able to come and sit there and try to have JD Vance react to him like they don't know about Putin. Everybody knows about Putin. Everybody knows he's a threat to democracy. Everybody knows it. But guess who else has been behaving the same way that people are not highlighting is Zelenskyy. He has suppressed media. He's putting his opposition in jail. American citizen has been killed over there. They put him in jail trying to suppress him, and he died in jail. You know, the things that he's closing up churches. There's no elections. The people are unable to speak out the way that they want to, and people are not focusing on what this man is doing. That little clown is not a world leader, but he is hollering fire, fire, and he only lost 5% because the United States of America has supplied him. Now he feels emboldened, and now he got all of them, but it's not going to last because with all them put together, they do not equal the United States of America. Here you would think that Trump was not trying to work out peace. He was trying to work out a ceasefire to start somewhere. The last 3.5 years, what have they done? Nobody sat at the table. Nobody was having a meeting with Putin. No one was trying to put it into the war. Here comes Trump. He's been in office just a few weeks. The first thing, one of the agendas, because he has so much to clean up. With everything is messed up. Everything. Inside, outside the country. And he worked out something that would benefit them, benefit us, and cause a ceasefire. Because he knows how to talk to Putin. Everybody can't talk to everyone. Zelenskyy, he's not going to respect some high heel wearing clown actor that don't know how. He has no place at the big table. He's at the kids' table. He's at the kids' table. Now he has a taste of power and wealth. He doesn't even know where 100 billion of our taxpayer dollars are at. But for him to have the audacity when they're grabbing young men off the street, think about your son walking outside. And the young man, he was walking his dog. His mother probably like, where's my son? What happened? They're grabbing young men off the freaking street and putting them out there to fight an endless war it's just a death trap for them. They're not coming back home. So by the time this war, if it ever ends, there are going to be millions and millions of people dead. And he's still not going to win. And Russia is going to invade them more of the land that he has. Right now, that country could come out on top. But when you have a freaking idiot running your country that will stand up there, you think that they kidnapping young men off the street, that they don't want the war to end? That those mothers and stuff don't want this war to end? And he wants America to fight. That's what he keeps saying. America needs to fight. It's not our war. It's his war. He wants us to die for him, for Ukraine. No, we're not. I'm glad Trump is the president. No, we're not. Because you need people in their right mind. The Democratic Party, instead of them seeing what's going on, they're not the leaders of the free world. We are. We are. You have the ceasefire so you can talk about peace. Trump is right, is one step at a time. Have the ceasefire first. Start somewhere. Nobody was doing the ceasefire. Let's just get that straight. Nobody. But when he went on America television, look at everything now. He got what he wanted. That man is grinning. He's smiling. He's happy. It worked out for him. This is what he wanted. He got what he wanted. He put fear in them and the rest of the world. You think
intelligence, logistics, possibly more air defense? That's what the Europeans and the Ukrainians are pushing for in the future.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, that's really going to be it, what Donald Trump is prepared to do here. Alex, the UK and France taking on this larger role in peace talks. How does that change the dynamic with President Trump, as we're hearing from the Secretary of State Marco Rubio and others in the Senate that he is
we're giving $40 million a week to the Taliban, right, Chuck?
Happen.
Hey, Chuck.
Yeah, well, Phil, it's a really good question, and certainly when you look at the way that France and the UK have really kind of stepped up to the fore here, it does add pressure to the U.S. to come to the table, right? But also, we haven't quite seen any budging on the side of the president or even Republicans. In fact, many of the members of the Trump administration, many of Republicans in Congress have doubled down and backed Trump's message about feeling that Zelenskyy isn't ready for peace talks. And this might be part of the president's negotiating position. It seems that he's tried to levy that out, but it doesn't quite seem that this added pressure on the global stage has moved the needle here yet.
Tom, Zelenskyy is also meeting with King Charles separately. The king also invited President Trump to an upcoming state dinner. What role is royalty playing in all of this?
Yeah, a bit of royal dust, magic dust into the equation, Phil. We just had confirmation, actually, that meeting is or has just taken place between King Charles and the Ukrainian President Zelenskyy at Sandringham, just north of London, a fair distance north of London. Look, I think it matters. This is soft power at work, isn't it? It's the UK, after really praising Trump, Starmer did at the White House, giving him that letter for an unprecedented second state visit. We know that works on Donald Trump. Also putting this optic into the equation where the Ukrainian president, after his bust up with Donald Trump in the White House, is also getting a meeting, not a state visit, but a meeting with the king. I think, these kind of things matter, whether they'll be able to really, give that sense of solidarity behind Ukrainian President Zelenskyy and, convince Team Trump to actually help repair their damage with the Ukrainian leader. I think that's another question I kept on shouting to world leaders as they went in and out of today's summit. Is the relationship between Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Zelenskyy salvageable?
No.
And really, at the moment, we're having no comment on that.
All right. Tom Sufi Burridge and Alex Prochet, thank you both very much.
I don't know, what's going on right now. And see, that's the world right now. So what Zelenskyy wanted, he accomplished. He accomplished. And with all them coming together or whatever, they're not the United States of America. And they can't even talk to Putin. They haven't even spoken to him in 3.5 years. This man, how can a president say that they don't even want to cease fire? Is the media questioning this man? He doesn't want to cease fire. Start there. Start there. Don't drag the rest of the world into your fight. So yeah, okay, so you UK, y'all gonna send y'all young men and women to die in an endless war, a war with no end. Y'all gonna send, so y'all get involved. The more y'all send people, then guess what? What you think Putin gonna do? What do y'all think? Putin said he would negotiate with Trump. What do y'all think Putin's going to do? These people didn't even want to get money to support that Ukraine war. Now they throwing out trinkets to him. Thank God, let them fight. If they want to go and fight and they don't see this clown for what he is, do they think that they're going to beat Russia now? Really? They're going to be so Putin from the KBG, everybody say what he is, that he going to sit back and he's not going to retaliate? What happens when he dropped the first bomb? Then what? Then what? They're going to destroy each other. And we got the Democrats act like we still running for president. We have a president. And for them to sit up there and have Zelenskyy take advantage of our media, that's the only reason why it had blown up. He never intended on signing a deal. He had two other opportunities. He was talked to for weeks. He was prepped for 5 days. He knew what the mission was. It was all set up, and he got in front of our media, and look what happened. He's going to try to tell Trump said that might have happened with Obama, with Putin. It happened with Obama. It didn't happen with me. It's different. He didn't try to do that with me. It happened with Biden, but it didn't happen with Trump. And for him to have the American president, the power, the leader of the free world that would support you to try to bring an end to your war, that's what they were saying that he should have been saying thank you, because nobody else was doing it. Not Biden, not the President Sturmer in UK, not President Trudeau in Canada. Nobody was trying to have talks with Putin and bringing an end to this war, and that's a fact. Now Trump trying to do it. This guy gonna blow up. Now here goes Zelenskyy. He's getting money. He's just smiling while they giving him the check. And NATO is telling him he need to straighten this out. He needs to straighten this out. And we have our people up here supporting this. Supporting this. It makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. What's happening, what's going on. And then they're trying to make Trump the bad guy. Oh, he's this, he's that. When Zelensky's acting just as much as a dictator as they claiming that Putin is acting. They're going to kidnap these young men off the street, kidnap them, throwing them in vans, suppressing the media, not only imprisoning his opposition, closing down churches. Anybody that has something to say, he's locking them up. That's what's going on. That's what's happening. So we have to support our leadership. And only thing the Democrats, they put us in the holes that we in, and then you have a president that has the task to straighten this bull crap out, what they have done to this country inside out. He got to deal with the 14 million illegal immigrants. He got to deal with them, the cartels, the Trinidad, these governors and trans and women's sports, and he got to deal with 2 wars, Ukraine and Gaza. He got California that went ablaze because Governor Gavin Newsom wouldn't let water fill the reservoirs or whatever to be able to put fires out. So all this craziness that this man has had to deal with, including this situation, instead of supporting him, because I don't believe anybody does everything right. But you got to support what they are doing that's right. He's looking out for our welfare. Do we want to go to war? Any Americans on here, do we want to go to war? Is that our goal? Because that's where we heading. That's what Zelenskyy wants us to do. Do we want to go to war? Y'all want to send your sons and daughters over to and fight and die? Y'all want to send your kids to die for Zelenskyy? Do y'all really want to send your kids to die for Zelenskyy, who doesn't want a ceasefire? It's a plateau. There's nowhere to protect yourself. The only thing to stop a bullet is a body. Is that what y'all want? Y'all better get on the program. These Democrats, y'all need to realize that we are Americans. And it comes a time that you got to put party aside like I did. And you have to stand as one nation under God. Trump is the president of all of us, not one of us. And all that whole stuff, oh, he's Hitler, he's that. I believed it because all I used to watch was MSNBC, CNN, all these people being sued from The View to all of them. from their all this negative propaganda, false propaganda about this man. And only thing he been trying to do is fight for us, even putting his life in danger. Are you kidding me? Would you still be running people shooting at you? They try to put him in jail. They try to take his fortune. They raided Mar-a-Lago. They tried to take him off the bed. They did everything to went after his family, his kids. And he's still standing because of the grace of God. Because God ultimately is in control. God. He got all this stuff going. I don't even know if he sleeps. And everybody fights him tooth and nail. And that's why I started this channel. I said, you know what? Everything he tries to do, the Democrats are going to fight him tooth and nail. They're going to try to blame him for the inflation, everything that's going on that the Democrats did with this party that I helped get into office in 2020. I campaigned, I canvassed, I phone bang. I thought Trump was working for the enemy. I believed all the hype until I started realizing that the Democratic Party is not the same party yesteryear. It turned into everything against God. LGBTQ is not God. Same-sex marriages is not God. Having the DNC, they couldn't run on the economy and they record that you could compare a record. They ran on abortion, exterminating babies. That's the big deal. Not birth control, not abstinence, not a man using condom. How about just all the other things you could do other than eliminating a baby? Okay? That's what they ran on. Like that was the biggest issue. That wasn't women's rights. Women's rights is not to have to compete against a man in a sport that's supposed to be for women. That women fought for to have women's rights. And now we got men that decided the only way I can be successful is to say I'm a woman. And guess what? It's not their fault. It's our fault to go along with it when I can't stand up there and tell y'all I'm a white woman. I'm Asian. I'm a black woman. And I love who I am. I wouldn't want to be anything else other than how God created me. I'm happy with who I am. But that's how crazy it would sound that I'm telling y'all. They say, oh, you're black. You didn't know. I'm white. I'm a white woman. No, I'm not black. I'm white. No, I'm Asian. Y'all would look at me like, okay, something is not right up there. And that's what we've been doing. It's our fault for going along with the nonsense all these years. And that's the Democratic Party. Democratic Party is more concerned about people's sexuality and people that need mental health. They got mental health issues. They need a psychiatrist, not somebody mutilating their bodies. So it's not the same party. And we're dealing with this man trying to drag us into World War III. That's his only goal. This high heel wearing comedian that's trying to drag us. And only thing we have the Democrats, now they're losing all their viewerships have plummeted. MSNBC, CNN, and they still doing the same thing. Because guess what? No matter what people say, and they have controlled the mainstream media, the majority of us voted for Trump, and that's why he's in office now. Even I, as a Democrat, voted for Trump. Trump. Because he was the best person for office. The Democrats have had years to get it together, and the only thing they have done is destroy this country. That's all they have done. They have destroyed this country. And now Trump is doing all he can. But now we got bigger problems. We got frickin' Zelenskyy, this little midget running around that wear heels. And he's somehow got put in office. He's not a leader. He's at the little kids' table. But he's an actor convincing the rest of these fools that danger. How about having a ceasefire for your people and then you can regroup? How about regrouping? How about trying to see what you can work out? He didn't want any of that. And the man that could bring them together, he sat his behind in that Oval Office and took advantage of American media, and now it's blown up. And the Democrats have already told him that there's a divide in this country, that you do that our mainstream media, they're going to support you. The same haters are going to come after Trump that came after him before. And that's what's going on. While this man pushed us into World War III and everybody followed behind it until we all start being blown up.
Delighted,
And that's
which
not
tells you
right.
something.
That's not
But it was
right.
something that the whole world kind of stopped and watched. I mean, in the aftermath of that
smart.
whole
That was a
UK and
smart
France felt the
move.
need to develop their own peace plan with Ukraine that they will present to us. The front page of one of the biggest British conservative newspapers called Trump a bully who is no longer welcome for his state visit. And here at home, protesters in Vermont lined up to greet Vice President J.D. Vance carrying signs with slogans like, "Compassion is not transactional, democracy not fascism," and my personal favorite, "Go ski in Russia, J.D." That's creative. But hey, I guess at least someone was happy. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov came out and said today that Trump's foreign policy, quote, largely coincides with our vision. A statement, by the way, that would have made the skin crawl of former Republican leaders like John McCain and Mitt Romney and many others. Well, let's just back up for a second, because there were some things that happened before Friday, before that meeting on Friday, that just gave you a sense it was going to be a bonkers day at the White House. And I just want to focus on one of them just for a moment, because I think it's telling. Because earlier in the day, we started getting reports from journalists at the White House that a member of Russian state media had gained access to that meeting in the Oval Office. We also learned that Reuters and the Associated Press were left out. Now, just to be clear, to put a little fine point on this one, that means an outlet that literally takes direction from the Kremlin briefly had access to a meeting between the sitting US president and the president of the country that their bosses invaded. It also means two global wire services known for reporting straight news around the world were denied access. And we know that decision to kick out the AP and Reuters was made by the White House. And they made that decision despite the fact that these outlets have been permanent members of what's known as the protective pool, which is basically a smaller group of reporters who are always there to witness things the president does, to represent the larger press corps, no matter how big or how small the events are. Now, the pool exists to ensure the media, and therefore the public, is protected from missing out on an expected news story. This dates all the way back to Eisenhower. I mean, the pool was there for the assassination attempt against Ronald Reagan. It was there on 9/11. And the pool is there when the president is on vacation, on any travel whatsoever. They're there for everything. And they're there for everything because at any moment, news can happen. And having journalists present to ask questions of the president is very much in the public interest. But the Trump administration obviously sees things very differently. They don't want outlets that are focused on reporting the actual news. They want outlets that will report mainly, only, primarily the version of the news
with the United States,
the way they want it reported. Which sounds remarkably Russian, by the way, doesn't it? And so on Friday, it looked like the AP and Reuters were out and a Russian propaganda outlet was in. Now, after that news broke, the White House claimed that this Russian reporter was not on the approved list of reporters and said they were being kicked out. And do mistakes happen with pools? I can tell you they definitely happen with pools. Sure they do. But it feels like one heck of a coincidence given the context, doesn't it? I mean, the only reporter who was able to sneak in happened to be from a Russian outlet during Donald Trump's meeting with the president of Ukraine. Again, consider the context. Because a Russian reporter being accidentally let in while AP and Reuters are kicked out is also right in line with everything they were doing before Friday. I mean, it's also in line with what they were doing back in 2017. Remember when Trump met with Russia's foreign minister?
Yeah, they were there to only sign the mineral deal.
To reveal highly classified information to them.
Yeah, he took advantage.
The only reason we saw images of that meeting was because a Russian photographer took photos that were released by the very same outlet that was briefly in the
dead soldiers.
What we saw on Friday was also in line with what they were doing earlier in the week too. Take a look at this headline from Tuesday.
Dead soldiers.
White House moves to pick the poll reporters who cover Trump. Again, that means choosing much friendlier outlets to cover the president. And I guess for a moment on Friday, it could have also meant.
You know, when I want to touch on that, about her talking about the media and what Trump is allowing. Trump has had just about been transparent, the most transparent president that we have ever had. Nobody's been more he's had about a news conference, and he talks to the American people literally on a daily basis. Unlike Biden, Trump has had like 60 freaking meetings to Biden's 14, probably his whole administration. All he does, you see Trump every day. And what they came up with, content creators like myself, what they're doing is giving us social media people a seat at the table to be in that press box. Nobody has done that before. So they know when they report the same way all the time. And they did a disservice to the American people because they didn't tell us about Biden suffering from dementia. They didn't show us how unqualified this vice president was when she was running. They kept her hidden. They never asked her any hardball questions. Everything was softball. It was 3-on-2. Everything was a setup. Even with ABC, CBS, every freaking debate they had was a setup. It was a setup for their favor. So nothing has been fair with them. And they have the audacity to haven't been transparent, have been biased and one-sided. And guess what? The American people, we saw through all of their shenanigans. And that's why this man is in office. They try to make him a felon. They say, oh, that'll work. We'll just trump up charges that had expired, things that haven't been proven. And this way he will lose. And what happened? He received more donations than ever. Because we saw that it was unjust. We saw through the judiciary system, they were doing everything they could. When he was supposed to be campaigning, they had him like on a house arrest. He couldn't even leave like New York. He had to campaign there while he's running for president. He actually won his primary, unlike Kamala. Okay, so they did all this buffoonery. They kept hitting all this, and now what's his name? Dictator now has come out with a book saying how they covered up Biden, their media. How about that? I mean, we're tired. That's why we have people, boots on the ground, like Cash Jordan, Nick Shirley, different people like that. It's so many content creators that have no skin in the game that's actually telling the truth and bringing you what's really going on. Because these people, I don't know if they really feel like this or they're paid, or maybe they didn't see the result of the last election. Because Trump not only won all swing states, he won the popular vote. So everything that they're saying, they still didn't get the memo that you're not speaking for the people. We don't want war. I don't think anybody, my son not going over no freaking Ukraine to fight for that clown. Zelenskyy is a fraud. He doesn't want peace, and he doesn't want to end this war. He doesn't want it to end. He was only supposed to come to the White House to sign the mineral deal. It was not the time and place for a discussion about and negotiating about the war, but he took advantage of American media, and a lot of y'all are sleeping on this manipulator, actor, clown. So when he got all the press that he wanted, so when he ran over to Europe, now they all, oh, we support you, oh, but you're nothing without us. Y'all gonna get wiped out. He's gonna you're sending your children to their death while this man continue to take advantage of the wealth that's being sent to him and the power. How are you going to talk about Putin when you're doing the same darn thing? Look it up what he's doing to his country. I got it, you know what? Maybe I'll find someone on here that can say it. Y'all got to understand what this guy is actually doing to his fellow countrymen. Okay, he silenced them. Just in case y'all haven't realized, he has silenced his countrymen. That they're not able to speak out. They're not going along with the nonsense. But that's what he has done. He's quieted them. That's what he's done. Let's get, I'm going to hear from the other side, because we're hearing from the Democrats. But like I said, they're not the party of yesteryear. They're not for the rights for American people. They are doing nothing for us. Let's get Tulsi on. She could probably say the best.
This is before the incidents in the Oval Office, if that's what we want to call it. And it asked the American people, do you think the U.S. should trust Russian President Vladimir Putin? 81% of them said no. You know it's hard to get 81% of Americans to agree on anything, but they're united on that. So why does this administration trust Putin?
I think President Trump goes in with the cynical eye as he does. I imagine with any deal that he's made, it's not about blind trust at all. It's about looking at the factors that are on the table, negotiating with all interested parties. And then for President Trump, ultimately, he's going to look out for what's in the best interest of the American people, our ability to live in a peaceful and prosperous way in our country, and uphold the values of freedom that we hold dear. So I think, again, President Trump has a very realist view of the picture and what's at stake, which is why he's so committed to working to bring about an end to this war, and frankly, why he's proven that as this war has been waged over the last 3 years, he's the only one that has the ability to do that.
So our next guest coming up, Democratic Congressman, Senator Chris Van Hollen, says that he is very worried about what he saw on Friday, what it communicates. He says the people who are celebrating are Russia and Putin, Xi and China, people who don't have America's best interests at heart. And we do have, over the weekend, a number of reactions out of Russia. You've got Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov saying President Trump's the one using common sense and that we like the way he's acting. You've got the Kremlin spokesperson, Dmitry Peskov, saying what the U.S. is doing is changing the game, and it largely coincides with our vision. What do you make of Russia celebrating and saying what the U.S. is doing lines up with their vision?
They're going to say what their position is. What we should pay attention to here in the United States of America is the American people, so many people across the country celebrating the strong leadership that President Trump and Vice President Vance demonstrated in the Oval Office, something we have not seen over the last 4 years of the Biden administration, where we finally have a president who's going to stand up strongly and fiercely and unwaveringly for the cause of peace and freedom for the American people. I know that that is who President Trump has on his heart and on his mind as he is working towards bringing about a negotiated end to this war. I think those who are criticizing his efforts in this way are showing that they are not committed to peace. And in the case of many of those European countries, that they're not committed to the cause and values of freedom. Even though they speak of this, we heard very clearly during Vice President Vance's speech in Munich different examples of how these European partners and longtime allies in many cases are actually implementing policies that undermine democracy, that shows that they don't actually believe in the voices of the people being heard, and implementing anti-freedom policies. We're seeing this in the United Kingdom, we're seeing this in Germany, we saw it with the tossing out of the elections in Romania. So there's something fundamentally deeper here that shows a huge difference in divergence between the values that President Trump and Vice President Vance are fighting for, the values that are enshrined in our Constitution, the interests of the American people in our peace and freedom and national security, versus those of many of these European countries who are coming to Zelensky's side as he walked out of the White House, saying basically that they are going to support him in continuing this war and that they don't stand with us around these fundamental values of freedom.
Well, and they also, though, think that they're in more alignment, and they should be, with the U.S. when it comes to those freedoms and things you talk about. Certainly those are not things that you would say that Russia or Putin celebrates or bestows on his own people.
That's correct. I would not make that claim, and it's clear that that's not the case. Nor does President Trump, but that's not really what we're talking about here. We're talking about many of these European countries and Zelensky himself, who claim to be standing and fighting for the cause of freedom and democracy when we actually look at what's happening in reality in these countries, as well as with Zelensky's government in Ukraine, is the exact opposite. You have the canceling of elections in Ukraine. You have political parties being silenced or even criminalized or thrown in prison. You have the freedom of religion, churches being shut down. You have political opposition being silenced. You have total government control of the media. We could go down a whole laundry list of issues that are against the values of democracy and freedom. So it really begs the question, as Vice President Vance said again in Munich, it's clear that they're standing against Putin. Obviously, that's clear. But what are they actually really fighting for? And are they aligned with the values that they claim to hold in agreement with us, the values that President Trump and Vice President Vance are standing for? And those are the values of freedom, of peace, and true security.
All right, so the way that you describe Ukraine and the way that most Americans and most of the world understands Russia, are you saying it's essentially choosing between the lesser of two evils?
What I'm focused on is what President Trump is focused on, which is peace. Seeing the world through a very clear picture and making sure that the president is having honest and good faith negotiations with both of these countries to bring about an end to this war. That is what it's about. That lives are at stake. The potential of World War III if this war continues to go on and
that's where we're heading, y'all.
And again, President Trump will make his decisions and we'll stay very focused on what is in the best interest of the American people and ensuring that future of peace and freedom.
Yeah, so we got to look at this. So we have to like take a look at it. I don't think any Americans, if people, y'all can leave a comment. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We're going to get off of here. We've been on here a little bit, but I had to take a look at the Democratic Party. It's not the same party that I supported. This party is different. Everything is always about Trump instead of about substance. Our country was in disarray, and that's what was handed over to him. This war been going on 3.5 years, and nobody had a seat at the table. Nobody tried to end it. And the only reason why Ukraine was able to do anything is because of America, because of us. And that's what Trump said, that sometimes you could do too much for people and then they take advantage of you. And that's what Ukraine did. And Zelenskyy keep telling him, oh, he's saying he's going to make us fight his war. That's what he's saying. He's going to make America fight his war. Y'all going to send y'all sons and daughters. Y'all going to fight. He was telling Trump, we're going to fight his war. But look, that's what he told Europe. Oh, y'all need to be afraid. They know who Putin is, but Putin only has been able to capture 5% of the land. I mean, that's great. You know, do your ceasefire, because Trump says it's faster to get a ceasefire than negotiate everything that needs to be negotiated. But at least people can stop dying. But what this man has done, he went over there to get more money. They're kidnapping people off the freaking street. I probably should look that video, how they're taking young men off the streets of Ukraine and throwing them in the vans and making them go and fight in their wars. Because they're running out of bodies. They don't have the people. And now here you got these freaking people like the UK president and people like that, and the people there said, we need our money. You're trying to send to, everybody said that you're trying to send it to Ukraine, but now they want to send their men and women to die for that country. Listening to Zelenskyy, who doesn't, but what's the end game? They're not talking to Putin. Putin is not going to go along with a darn thing that they're saying. None of them. None of them. He doesn't respect them, and he certainly don't respect this clown that wears 5-inch high heels and that's an actor. He doesn't even have the statue that he respects. Zelenskyy is taking advantage of the world, and it'd be a darn shame for this man to drag the world into a fight because he wants to remain in power. And that's what's going on at the end of the day. So anyway, if any of you, leave your comments, questions, whatever. I do look at them, I'll answer. Do you feel that the Democratic Party is the same party? Are they looking out for the best interests of Americans when they open up our borders, when they allow same-sex marriages, men and women sports, men and women locker rooms? So all the stuff that they represent, they got us involved in 2 wars, high inflation economy. Well, has it affected your life? Do you think that the party needs a makeover? That the party needs to listen to the people? That's how Trump got elected, because he said America first, putting America first. If Biden was in office, we would be in a war. If we got involved in that war, it would just, as soon as America get involved, it's World War III. That's what would happen. Because then Putin is going to call his allies, which is China. But we got a president that's against war and that a president that's for peace. And then God said, look, I'd rather be with God. Peace that passes all understanding through Christ Jesus. Let's walk in peace. And everyone that got something to say, all the Democrats, they will not send their children over to Ukraine to die for Zelenskyy, for his land, for his land. And right now, he can have a ceasefire. Trump said, I just want to stop the killing. They're not Americans, but I care about people. I just want to stop people from dying. Y'all are losing millions of people needlessly. And we need to bring it to an end. But anyway, you guys, thanks for, don't come over here. No, get away. No, get away, because I'm going to get with you. Thanks, you guys, for joining. Leave your comment. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Are you in agreement with Jasmine Crockett said that Trump is the enemy? He's the enemy. And she's going to apologize on the behalf of the United States, because we had this clown that took advantage of our media. He was only there to sign a mineral deal that was discussed. It was in the works for weeks. It was 3 different times he was supposed to sign it. Only thing he was supposed to do is greet the media, have a lunch, sign the deal. Trump put us on, do the ceasefire. That's all. That's what's supposed to be negotiated and talked about over lunch. But he decided to get in front of our media, and he made out. He got all the news, all eyes on him. He got Europe. They like, oh, we standing together. Y'all weak. Y'all not gonna beat Russia. We need this thing to end. Everybody wants a better life. You're not gonna have a better life if everybody is fighting. You always should seek peace. God said in the Bible, seek peace. We should seek peace. So we just pray for that our leaders use wisdom. Pray for the Democratic Party because they have went rogue. I don't know what they are now. I can't even identify what the Democratic Party has become. But they're about everything seems like against God. They don't even have values and morals any longer. I don't know what it is. But they're certainly not for black people. They've done more harm to black people than anybody else, from the Ku Klux Klan to Joe Biden mass incarceration to Kamala, her incarceration of black people. And Obama was supposed to be the black president. He was the LGBTQ president. So they have done nothing for us. So I just pray that, whatever y'all got to say, do y'all want us to go in the direction that Zelenskyy is trying to take us, because he's getting Europe involved. Okay, guess what Putin going to do now? Think about what would you think? Putin not going to let them all get together and load up, and he's not going to reload. It doesn't work. Instead of trying to have peace, not one of them can negotiate peace except for Donald J. Trump, and that ship has sailed. Trump said, y'all don't want peace? Come back to me when you want peace. That's when you can talk to me and we could finish doing what we started. And other than that, y'all want to fight, y'all just fight it out. Fight it out. Keep us out of it. Y'all fight it out. Y'all want to send y'all kids with an endless war. This war will be going on for the next 10 years if it's up to Zelenskyy, and he would have lost a lot more land. The majority of Ukraine would be blown up by then. Okay, so anyway, thanks for coming on. I appreciate everybody that gave. Thank you. I do appreciate it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This is Speak the Truth. I'm Cindy. He's fired. He will never be on here again. Yeah. So thank you guys. God is good. Thanks for coming on. And I'll probably be on tomorrow. But I will be doing.
That's my mom, guys. That's how my mom treats.
Get away. I will be doing Trump's. He's doing on March the 4th. It's almost going to be like a State of the Union address. I don't know if that's it. But anyway, thanks for coming on. Don't forget to leave comments, like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Thanks for coming on. Bye.